What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports Swing for the Fences MLB DFS show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm back with two of my buddies. We got JT. We got Big T. Kick it off with you first, JT. How's it going? How'd you survive that ugly slate yesterday?
Yeah, last night was, saw a lot of comments in the community, people complaining. Last night's just one of those weird things, right? You take kind of the two top pitchers, top owned pitchers, or at least two of the three, and you stack in the same lineup and you win. It's going to happen from time to time. Not a great night for me. Looking to bounce back today, obviously. Wednesday was a good night, though. Hyun-Jin Ryu, top owned pitcher on the slate. I talked about him. Everybody thought I was insane, but it worked out beautifully. So hoping to find another one of those guys tonight.
Big T, how about you? It seemed like we had a couple screenshots floating, right? We had someone who won 5K. It looks like they took your advice with the 3-3-2 stack. I saw another one float in today, for $1,000. So overall, I think we hit some of the things we talked about yesterday, and some of them we got wrong. But overall, it seems pretty good. How about you, Big T?
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered it pretty good. It was just one of those slates where it was going to be tough to nail down. I mean, pitching was tough. The hitting was kind of ugly. It kind of was. I mean, that was the one advice that kind of stuck, that it wasn't really a stack night, kind of sprinkle it around 3-3-2. The guy just happened to hit it. And, yeah, I mean, I had a bad night too, which I don't really think I was ever in play, which was weird. I mean, I said the idea about play the Reds is like a leverage stack. That obviously didn't work out, as they just never got anything going. I got to stop talking about yesterday. We got to move on. Yesterday was ugly. We got to move on to bigger and better things here tonight.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on to bigger and better things. It wasn't a bad day, but I'm ready to move on to today. So far, it started out good in the NBA for me, so I'm excited. We got tons of weather, too, to look at. I mean, this is going to be a interesting slate. So let's just dive in and talk about it.
Update us on the weather real quick, just for the people that don't know.
All right, I'll give you a little bit of the weather updates here. I just lost it. Where'd it go? I clicked the wrong button. Hold on, Big T. And the weather is right here. Okay, so the thing to watch. Yesterday, we were worried about Baltimore, Miami a little bit, how there could be some weather. We got some Baltimore, Washington weather. That's on the early slate, though. So if you're playing that, that's in an hour. Then we got the Atlanta game, right? The Atlanta game, that one is with the Phillies, and it's in Philadelphia. So similar area, some flash flood stuff. So, be on the lookout for that. And Miami, New York, again, similar area. They're going to have some issues too. So, just kind of stay tuned for that. There could be some weather that pops up all on this East Coast. Toronto, Boston could have some issues as well. So, nothing massive, but just be on the lookout for it. If I get any updates throughout the show, we'll give you that. And JT, we're not expert meteorologists, but we've done a pretty decent job in the Discord chat. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. I gave the guys a good app to check out, Dark Sky. It's nothing adult in nature. Simply talks about the weather from hour to hour. And the Philly-Atlanta game, I think, is the one to worry about more than the others. It looks like there's about a good solid hour of rain right around lock, right around first pitch. But you don't have fans. You don't have to worry about people drinking too much and then getting into wrecks on the way home. And so I think just watch it and we'll see how it goes. And that is a game I like. I don't like it for pitching, so that's good. Don't have to worry about whether or not pitchers are going to get innings, but I think that's a good hitting game. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah, if we're in the business of a sponsorship for someone, Dark Sky, if someone out there works for Dark Sky, we'll take you on board as our first sponsor if you'd like. But we use the weather and we try and figure it out for you guys over there in the Discord chat. So guys, if you're not a Run Pure Sports member, get on in that, because the Discord chat is absolutely awesome. But let's dive in and talk about this slate. Like I said, it's a pretty good one. We'll go to you first, Big T. So when I opened up the slate and I first started looking at it, my first initial reaction was, man, Trevor Bauer's in a really great spot. He's probably one of the guys at the top I think you got to like. We'll talk about the 9K and above range. Or actually, we'll go 8.9K and above, Big T. So basically, Matt Boyd, Aaron Savale, Julio Urias, Zach Greinke, and Trevor Bauer. Break down that top end arms for us.
Yeah, so I think pitching is pretty cut and dry. I like these slates like this where we have a ton of different games. What are we, 12 games tonight? Something like that. Big slate, though. But pitching feels super cut and dry for me. I know it's going to be chalky, but Bauer, and the funny thing is I don't love the spot for Bauer. So if JT or you, Mangone, talks me into someone, I won't necessarily have to play Bauer, but I do think his floor is safe with the K upside, and I do think he gets us a good solid showing. So I don't really see a reason not to get on him. And another reason I like him is just because I don't really want to play Greinke, Julio Urias. I think he's okay. I mean, maybe I could pivot to him. I just don't love these guys. I think the pivot for a lot of people is going to be Matt Boyd. And, I mean, I don't mind it. Again, I just don't like him more than Bauer. So it's going to get interesting. And the hard part for me with pitching, we're going to get in that cheap range, but I've had it bookmark. My man Kikuchi, when we get to him, he's only 5K. He's going to be massively chalky. However, I wish he was more expensive. Honestly, I wish Kikuchi was 9K on this slate, as crazy as that sounds. He's 5K. I wish he was 9K because I would play him. Even if he was 9 or 10K, I'd play him. That's how much I like him. So I am going to lock Kikuchi and leave salary as my plan tonight. And the SP1, since I'll consider a Kikuchi SP2, is up for grabs for me. Right now it's Bauer, but maybe JT can talk me into someone else to go with my boy Kikuchi.
Yeah, I'll say this, Big T. Kikuchi and Matt Boyd. I talk to some people in the industry, and they're smart dudes. They make some smart bets, and they like the overs on Kikuchi and Boyd. So I'm definitely in on that. Let's talk about the top end range, though, JT. I'm kind of similar with Big T. Trevor Bauer at first look. Of course, I like Trevor Bauer. You look how good he's been. But overall, when I look at everything, I don't know. I'm just not super on board with him against Milwaukee. And it's not just that. It's the price tag, right? I want to get in some of these offenses. I think there's enough value to make it happen on FanDuel. DK, it's a lot easier when you're able to just play Kikuchi. So FanDuel specifically, JT, I don't love Bauer. On DK, I like him a little more because you can pair Kikuchi up with him. But I do think Boyd is interesting in the conversation. All in all, JT, how do you want to handle this in tournaments? Break down these top end arms.
Yeah, I think Bauer Kikuchi is going to be a popular pairing, obviously, right? You've got Bauer as the highest price pitcher, Kikuchi. On paper, both great matchups. On paper, Trevor Bauer has maybe the best matchup on the board. He's got a 43% strikeout rate early in the season. The Brewers have a 29% strikeout rate. But, with both of those guys, they're coming off, it was only a 7-inning one, but a 7-inning complete game shutout. Kikuchi's coming off his best performance since he nearly no-hit the Blue Jays last year. The problem that I have with Kikuchi is, one, his control is not consistent. And so every time you see him put together a game like he put together against the A's, well, the very next game out, he comes in negative because he gets wild, he walks guys. Colorado's not an imposing matchup by any means. The ballpark's favorable. He's cheap enough to use. I'm just not expecting a repeat of last week's performance from him. At the top end, I think there's enough concern for me with Bauer to think about it at least. We saw finally a decent game from Christian Yelich last night. Not so much the home run, it's the 4 walks. When a guy like that is walking 3 and 4 times a game, it means they're seeing the ball. But there's a lot of strikeouts in this Brewer lineup. And of these other guys, Greinke, his velocity's down around the mid-80s. Again, good park, a good matchup in terms of right-handed hitters. The guy that I might like more than any of those guys tonight is Savali at 9.3. And that's what I'm struggling with is, do I want to go Bauer or Savali because I'm not in love with Greinke. Urias is okay, but at 10K, I just don't know that he's going to get enough run to get me what a Savali might get me because I know that Francona will leave him in until his arm falls off.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with you with a lot of what you're saying with Savali because the thing that's nice about him is he gets the White Sox, and we talked about it yesterday, Big T. We mentioned, I'm blanking on my boy's name, Lindblom, right? How he could easily have a ton of upside or the White Sox offense could do well. So what do you think of the Savali call? Do you think there's enough upside in someone that you want to look at, Big T?
Yeah, I like it, and I'm torn because I think Bauer's one of the nastiest pitchers in baseball, but I do feel a little uneasy about Bauer. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is about Milwaukee because you look at the lineup. Really, the only guy I'm even scared of is Yelich. I don't know. I don't feel good about Bauer tonight. It's more of a feel thing than anything. And he's going to be mega chalk on Draftkings. So Savali, like JT said, 100 pitches, 106 pitches the last two outings, 9 Ks both games. Went against Minnesota last game in Minnesota, which is one of the tougher matchups in baseball right now. Tons of offense there. So he's shown 2 good matchups. Now he gets the White Sox, so he's already faced once, struck out 9 on the first matchup against them. I like it. I mean, I do. I like the call. I really wanted a pivot off of Bauer. I still like Bauer, so I think I'll probably play 3 teams tonight. Maybe I play 2 of one and 1 of the other, but I like that call.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. Like, I like stacking in cash games, right? Like, I like the correlation. I want that all to line up. And listen, like when you play Trevor Bauer, I know Kikuchi helps make it work, but that little bit of money from like Matt Boyd can help make it happen. So, or even going down to Griffin Canning, who's a pretty good option. So it's pretty tough. Let's go to the mid tier now and break that part down. We'll go over to you, JT. I mean, what do you want to do here? I mean, I think Griffin Canning is my favorite in this range. It's if we're not including Boyd in that range, I would say it's probably Canning of these guys. How about you?
Yeah, the pairing I have in my dummy lineup, my save lineup on DraftKings is Savali Canning, and it just, I have plenty of salary for the bats that I want with those 2 guys. I don't really have to punt anywhere or go down too low. Boyd, I looked at Boyd. He's a guy that is a pretty frustrating pitcher. The thing about it is he can have a great outing and strike out 10 guys. He's also going to give up 2 or 3 bombs. And the Pirates don't strike out a ton against lefties. They strike out a lot against righties. They don't scare me, but of him versus Canning, I kind of like Canning's matchup a little bit more.
Yeah, listen, I'm with you on the whole like Boyd and against the Pirates, like the strikeouts, right? That's the biggest fear. But I don't know. I'm trusting my one friend. He's got a pretty good take on it. So I'm kind of just think I'm going to ride that out. And then Canning, the one thing I'll say about Canning, and Big T, I'll go to you. Sometimes you open up and you see, okay, what are the totals today, right? I know you're a big Vegas guy. You like the totals just like myself. And I saw this total on the Rangers and I was like, why are we staring at like, a little bit above 4? I just didn't get that. I thought it would be, below 4. So what do you think of Canning in this mid-tier range, Big T?
So you thought Texas? What did you think? I'm confused. You thought it would be higher or lower?
I thought it would be lower. I just, I opened up the totals
with Griffin Canning. What's it going to be like 3?
I thought it'd be like, that 3.5 with like the juice on the over, right? Like that's what I thought it would be at. Like I'd say 3.5 at like minus 135. You know what I mean? That's where I thought it'd be. Not like, for instance, it would probably be like it's probably like 4.5 right now with like the juice, on the under. Which, like I said, I just think that it should be. I'm just surprised at what I saw with the Vegas line.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been on it too with this Texas Park. I mean, it's treated us good. We've played pitchers there a bunch, and we really haven't had. I mean, there's been 1 or 2 games maybe that have flown over, but for the most part, we've had a lot of pitchers duels in this new park. And I mean, I like Canning. He's another example tonight of a guy I like a little bit. I do like targeting Texas with lefties better than righties. I don't know. I look at this lineup. It doesn't scare me by any means, but I don't know. Like, it's tough to play Canning over Savali or Bauer for me. And like I said, I mean, we're going to talk about Kikuchi. Like, I agree with what JT said, how I haven't seen it in the past, but his velocity's way up. He looked nasty last time, and I have to play him against the Rockies. So if I'm going to play him, I can afford to play Savali or Bauer. It's tough. It's really tough for me to play Canning over those 2. And there's some cheap offenses we're going to get to that I absolutely love. So I like Canning. I just don't know if it's the right slate for me. I don't necessarily see that upside. Yeah,
that's really what I'm torn on too. And like I said, I'm with you. Like I like Kikuchi a ton. I think this is such a good spot for him. JT, any final thoughts in this mid tier you want to break down the cheap guys for us?
No, I mean the rest of the mid tier is, I'm probably not going to play a Bassett against Houston. I mean, I'm just, even in that park at 8-3 on DK, that's not something that appeals to me. Luke Weaver has been really, really bad in the early going, and that San Diego offense has a ton of power. Tanner Roark, I don't love Tanner Roark, but he's kind of just sitting there against the Boston team, that strikes out 26% of the time. He might, get a little bit of a leash tonight, but I wouldn't go heavy on him, maybe 5-10% on him. But other than that, in the mid-range, I'm not playing Waka. I'm not playing Davies. I'm not playing Lyles. The Pittsburgh pitchers are going to go 2 and 3 innings apiece, so I'm not interested in that.
All right, Big T, just Kikuchi. You already said that, so if you got anything else to add about Kikuchi, add that in, or just give your top 3 to 4 arms and how you kind of approach it in tournaments in like 150 GPP format.
Yeah, I mean, I've bookmarked this start. I think I even told JT, I told someone the last start, but I read this start bookmarked for Kikuchi, so I'm disappointed that he's 5K and he's going to be mega chalk. Like I said, I honestly wish he was 9 or 10K today so that people wouldn't play him and I could have him low owned. Freaking sucks that he's 5K and it sucks that he's going to be chalk. But I'll just get different with my hitters. I absolutely love him. I feel very, very good about him. And I don't know. So you talked about how a line looks weird to you when you open it up. This Bassett line, I can't believe Oakland's minus 130 over Houston. Right? They're playing.
Yeah, over Zach Greinke. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it really hit me because the line in my head didn't make sense. I put it up on the thing, and then JT clearly right away says Greinke's velocity is way down, hasn't looked great, and then it just comes clear to me like Oakland is just a deadlock tonight on the bet side. I don't know what it means for Bassett. I mean, maybe he doesn't throw a gem or anything, but as far as just to talk up the Rumpier bets a little bit, I mean, I think that's a good play tonight. And I don't hate Bassett. I mean, he's looked good, decent park. But again, I put him almost in that same bucket as Griffin Canning. Tough matchup against Houston. Probably not much upside. I think he limits Houston a little bit, but can I really play him over Bauer and Savale is the issue, and I don't think I can. So for me, it's just those 3 tonight. You asked if I'm playing 150 teams, I'm literally just playing those through Bauer, Savale with Kikuchi.
All right. How about you, JT? How would you break it down here?
Yeah, I'll probably get to 5 pitchers in the 150 just because I want to spread out a little bit because I don't have a great feel for Bauer. He had 2 great matchups, but look, those were both against Detroit. I mean, he could dominate Detroit in his sleep, and not that there's not a ton of strikeouts here. There's just a little bit more power upside. Hiura is better against righties than he is against lefties. Doesn't mean I think Bauer's going to have a bad game by any means. It just means, I don't want to go 75%. So I'll have Bauer, Savale, I'll have some Canning. And yeah, I'm going to play some Kikuchi. And Tony, you were right. We did talk about it. His fastball is, up in the mid 90s now, as opposed to when it was, last year, 90, 91. And he, again, everything lines up for him. That's the one thing that scares me is that price almost feels like such a trap.
Why did they make him 5K? Why couldn't they just price him up? So let me give you this example, JT. What would you do with him if he was 9K on this slate and you knew he was going to be 10% owned?
See, I don't know because it's why I wasn't all that interested in Chatwood yesterday. Is a guy coming off a ceiling game, but he had a price rise.
Yeah.
Look at Gucci. His price go down?
Why is he 5K? That's the annoying part.
I don't know. I mean, clearly they don't respect him the way that you do, the way that he deserves to be respected after that matchup. But I will say it's one thing that I looked at, and I thought about it today because actually the start he made after that Toronto game last year at home, it was against the Yankees. I actually was in Seattle and I went to that game, and I was excited to watch him, and he got destroyed. This is a much different matchup. The Rockies are not good on the road. They're coming out of altitude. They strike out a ton. You've got really 2 guys in that lineup to worry about. So with Kikuchi, my thing is he might only get you 12. I don't know that he gets you 30, but at 5K, who cares? If your offense goes off, you're going to be fine.
I think he's going to get me like 35 is the difference. Like I feel so good about it.
I'm going to have some just because you think that. And then I'm also going to stack the Rockies in 3 lineups just in case.
Just in the weather, though, man. Like, the weather's going to be like below 60. It's going to be like cold there almost. And everything kind of a lot. I mean, I respect what you're saying, too. So maybe I don't go full 100%, but, man, whew.
The one thing we haven't mentioned, too, and, like, again, everything aligning, Big T, we hate the Rockies on the road, right? They're terrible on the road.
I was telling someone this yesterday. I honestly think the thing I look at the most in baseball is park downshifts. Like, if they go from a really good offensive park to a terrible offensive park, I really like targeting those spots the opposite direction. And same thing with, like, say the Giants or somebody with a terrible park goes to where they were just at Coors and stuff. I like targeting those spots a lot more. I know a lot of people do that, and it sounds simple, but that's like one of the things I like more than most stats, that type of thing.
And that's the case for Urias. Sorry, Trav. That's the case for Urias tonight too, right? He gets the Giants. The Giants have hit 116 against him in his 3 starts. Giants are coming out of Coors into Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers are going to absolutely destroy Samardzija tonight. Add Urias to the mix, too, for me, even though Dave Roberts is a jackass and is only going to give him 6 innings. But still.
Who was arguing with us that day about that? Somebody was arguing about it. It was our boy Ryan. I wish Ryan was on here. Oh.
He was like, Roberts is fine. Roberts is fine.
No. So, hey, we all have we all have a couple things we're blindly, aligned to and love. I think Ryan's is the Dodgers, I'd say. He's listening, probably laughing with a smile on his face or something, or yelling at us saying that's not true. But let's move on to talk about the hitters now. We'll talk about some of these stacks. We'll start obviously with the Braves and the Phillies for the main slate. I will head over to you first, Big T. I mean, we talked about Free Money Freddie yesterday. He hit one out. He gets to go against a guy like Vincent Velasquez. I mean, there's a 10 total here. This has got to be a good spot, but there is a little bit of weather lurking. So how are you handling this game?
Yeah, so this spot's really good. I am worried about the weather, though. So the 2 games I am worried personally about the weather. Hold on one second. Is that Washington game not on? What game was that?
That's the 6
Baltimore.
o'clock.
I was thinking Baltimore in my head. I'm struggling with. But, yeah, this game's one of them that I'm definitely worried about the weather. If you told me for sure that it's going to be good, I would definitely be interested. It's just there's 12 games. There's a couple teams I really like in better weather spots. So I think I'm going to fade this game. I just don't. I don't know. Like, I can't guarantee the weather, and there's other spots and similar that I like just as much. So I'm fading it, but I completely get if people want to play it. I mean, the prices on these guys aren't that crazy, especially when you got Kikuchi on the slate. So I'm fading, but I get it completely if you want to go there.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, Big T. I just don't love this spot. And I mean, JT, is it going to be under-owned in tournament? Should it be something we target there then?
Yeah, I think both these teams are going to be less than 5% owned, and that may go down depending on the weather reports going up until lock. Look, I'm, as we talk about, right, I'm running 150. I'm going to have a couple of stacks of this game and then these teams. I'm not going to go crazy because of the weather. But it's also a situation that we talk about a lot. Big T, you talk about this a lot, right? If everybody's going to get off this game, you've got 2 pitchers that right now aren't major league, they're not major league level. Velasquez is another guy whose velocity is down 3 miles an hour over last year. Kyle Wright's control is nowhere near major league level. He wouldn't be on this club if it wasn't for Fultonavich's implosion and a couple of big injuries. So I'm not going to go heavy, but man, Bryce Harper just stood out to me as almost one of the best plays tonight against this kid. He gets a couple of walks to those guys at the top of the lineup, and then Bryce gets a chance a couple of times. But you can't with the weather. You can't go too heavy. But I will be on both these teams a little bit.
We've seen this happen so many times, too. JT just brought up a great point. Like, everyone gets off because of the weather. And I'm even saying, like, say all the weather reports are it looks terrible, it's probably going to not go. As long as it says has a chance to go by lock, maybe these teams end up literally like 1 or 2% because there's so many games on the slate. It just makes sense to fade it. But we've seen it happen plenty of times where you get these guys at 1 or 2%, and this game turns into a 9-8 game, and it's the first game right out of the block. So you're like, holy crap, I got these dudes 1%. And with the new rules, like if this game gets started and you get a little push early, yeah, we want the full game, of course. I'm not even saying we don't, but if you get a little burst early and it gets canceled, I mean, you never know. You could still get in there. There's just so much upside to have a 1 or 2% ownership on this much offense.
There's just two other points I'll make here. The first is the Phillies, remember, lost a week already. So they're going to be motivated to get this game in. What I'm seeing weather-wise is there's an hour period of heavy rain. That field drains fine, and I think they're gonna want to play this game. The second thing is, if I had like $10 for every time I rostered Vince Velasquez, turn around and in the first inning it's like 7-0, and it just seems like these Braves hit him so well. So I think they want to play this game. I don't see where it's going to rain all night long, and I'm going to stay in on it at least a little bit.
Right. Yeah. And another thing I'll mention too is like, what if there's like rain early and then you just get the bullpen? Like it could just be a good time. So
I'm not sure if the bullpen's better than these starters.
Yeah,
we might want the starters.
You're not wrong. That's always something to look at too. Let's go to the next game. We got the Tigers. We got the Pirates. We got Matt Boyd and Chad Kuhl. And like I said, I don't know what to do with Boyd here. I don't even know what to do with the Tigers too against Kuhl. Like this just doesn't feel like a game I love. We'll go to you, Big T. How are you handling this one?
Yeah, so it's going to be the theme on a decent number of games where I'm just going to stay away. It's a huge slate. I like Boyd okay, but I don't like him more. I mean, JT talked me into Savali. I already liked Bauer more. So I think I'm staying away from Boyd, just a full fade. He hasn't looked good, too, through the first two games. Pittsburgh's they're not going to scare you, but I don't know. I just don't feel good about Boyd. I don't really like this game, especially not for offense. Neither lineup looks any good. It's just a fade for me.
All right, JT, how about you? Feels like a fade for me. Is it a fade for you as well?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of interest here. I mean, the Pirates are gonna do that piggyback thing where it's gonna be Chad Kuhl and then maybe Brault, or you could make a case for the Tigers, as cheap as they are and as bad as that Pirate bullpen is, but I don't love it. And Boyd, 17% strikeout rate early going this season. Pirates only strike out 17% of the time. Sure, in GPPs, I don't know if I'd play Boyd in cash.
Yeah, I mean JT, that's the thing I'm debating right now. I'm very torn, but I do think there's enough strikeouts there. And we're talking about stacks. That's just a game I think you just absolutely stay away from. Let's go to the Marlins. Let's go to the Mets. Big T, the Mets, they have a decent implied total here. I just don't know what to do with the game again. Another weather spot. So how are you handling this?
Yeah, so break up the Marlins, right? I mean, they're 7-1, 6-1, whatever they are. They're in first place. They've actually looked good. I mean, they've shown some power in spots. You look at this lineup, and honestly, the lineup doesn't look that bad. I mean, Matt Joyce has always hit righties, especially scrubs like Waka. He's always hit them good. Logan Forsythe down at the bottom isn't bad. I like him more against lefties, but all the top guys have power or speed, and I don't know, the team's not that bad, but I mean, it's a big slate. I don't know, like I don't need to go to the Miami side on a 12-game slate. And this Miami pitcher, so JT's probably going to know more about these guys than I will. I just know as far as the numbers, he looks decent to me. I think he's 4K on Draftkings. If I needed the savings and like there was cores on the slate, or I just wanted to go crazy with offense, I could make a case for him. I just don't need him tonight. So I think he looks decent enough to where I definitely don't want to play the Mets offense. And I kind of like him, honestly, this dude from Miami. So probably not going to play him, but I do think he pitches good tonight.
Real quick, we got Dallas sports fan. He said, Big T's going to tell us to stack the Marlins 5 minutes before lock. I think he's implying in the Discord chat. Big T, that's not happening today, right?
No, you're safe today, Dallas sports fan. I'm not recommending the Marlins today.
We'll go to you, JT. But real quick, I just want to mention, we got 27 likes. How many people we got watching this bad boy, Big T? How many we got?
160.
160. That's not enough, man. We got to get some more likes.
Always
Bring
got
out some
halfway. I use the halfway rule. Like if it's 160, we got to be at 80 likes. Like, I mean, that's just how this thing works.
Yeah. Well, how many you want to do for the T-shirt, Big T? You want to make it 100 for the T-shirt?
Yeah, I mean, we always got to give out gear. We definitely got to get to 100. I mean, this gear, we can't just show. It takes a lot of effort to go to FedEx, pay the $12 plus the gear. I mean, we got to get to at least 100.
All right, we'll make the number 100.
JT had me rolling the one day I was watching your guys' show too. He said it was what'd you say that day, JT? Just disrespectful or something? What'd you say?
It was very hurtful.
Yeah, very hurtful was your word. It was very hurtful. I like that. You had me laughing.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt JT's feelings.
Yeah.
JT, speaking of hurting feelings, do the Marlins, they hurt your feelings? The Mets, because the Mets, I'm a Mets fan, JT, and they hurt my feelings. How do we let the Marlins be in first place right now?
So I grew up in Brooklyn, and I grew up a Mets fan, and they have never stopped hurting my feelings. It's a good thing that I moved around a little bit so I could get to see some good baseball over the years after '86. But so this kid Mejia, you're right. I dug into him a little bit. He's making the jump from high A ball to the major leagues, and what we're seeing, it's interesting. There's a bunch of these really talented prospects that have done it this year. We saw it with Bubik for the Royals. His numbers are great in single A ball, but everyone who makes it to the major leagues has great numbers in single A ball. I don't know, because there's no minor league system this year. I have no earthly idea how many pitches this guy may have thrown this year, how much he might have pitched recently. He's only making the start because of all the COVID results, right? I don't mind the Mets. This is a situation where this offense is going to break out at some point, and everybody's sleeping on the Mets. This is when I like to play them. And I think with, Alonso started to come out of his slump a little bit. You've got the lefties at the top of that lineup, Conforto. And look, behind Mejia is a bullpen that is, mid-league best at best. So I don't mind the Mets here taking some shots on them. McNeil, Nimmo, Alonso, and Wilson Ramos, who's 3-2 on DraftKings. He's too cheap today. So I'll take some shots on the Mets. I don't have a lot of interest in the Marlins side. I don't have any interest in Waka as a pitcher.
All righty, let's go on to the next one. We got the Blue Jays. We got the Red Sox, 10.5 total. It's in Boston, right? Boston's always a good hitting spot. Big T, what are you doing here with these Blue Jays and Red Sox?
Yeah, so I've been trying to make the Blue Jays happen for about 2 weeks now, and I got to go back with them again. I mean, this is a really good spot in Boston. I like it a ton. I like this lineup a ton. I always like when I see a random dude pop in, like Travis Shaw. When did he get on the team? I didn't even know he played for Toronto, but hopefully he hasn't, because I'm going to sound stupid if he's played all year, but I haven't seen him in the lineup yet. Has he been in there, JT? Am I dumb?
He's been on the team. I don't think
he just hasn't played.
I don't think he's cracked the lineup more than once or twice.
I'm about to look now just to see.
I mean, I feel dumb if he had. I'm usually decent with that. I mean, the name looked weird down there, but either way, I like the Toronto lineup a ton, especially all these righties at the top. I mean, Bichette, Gurriel, Vladdy, Grichuk, Teoscar in the 8-hole. You want to talk about a Big T type play? Teoscar in the 8-hole tonight will be completely unowned. All the power, short porch and left, obviously. Bunch of doubles off the wall too. I just those are my type of plays. Like play Toronto. No one's going to play Teoscar over Gurriel or Grichuk even. I love Toronto. I love that spot. And Boston too. I mean, Boston's let us down a ton. Tanner Roark has been known to just get bombed at times. I can't imagine he's going to do good in this spot. But I look at Boston's lineup. I just don't like it as much as Toronto. So I don't know. Like, I always talk about this on the shows, but I don't want to play 8 different offenses. Like, I want to narrow this down to 4 or 5 teams for across all my teams, no matter how many I play. Whether I play 3 teams, 20 teams, 150 teams. I just don't like to go too crazy with too many stacks, even on a big slate like this. So I like Boston, just not as much as Toronto and other spots. So I think Boston will be a fade. I just don't love the lineup, even though I think Roark sucks. But definitely interested in Toronto.
Yeah, so JT, let me at least get my cash donkey takes in here, right? Because Benintendi's like 2-6 on FanDuel. Like he's a really, I mean,
You
he
don't
has
ever
struggled
need
to start
money
the
on
year.
FanDuel though, right? Like
Yeah.
when do we need salary? Like we don't need salary.
It's fair, but if you need salary, I think he's in play. Like I'm just gonna say that. Like,
There's just so many freebies on this slate. Like everybody's free.
No, I'm with you. I get it. I like him. I think he's in play. It just depends on how you're working on your everything that you're going with. But I think Benintendi's interesting. I like Devers a lot. I think third base is kind of loaded tonight. That's just the one issue, and that's the guy I've been going back and forth on and trying to really nail down completely. But yeah, JT, break this game down for me. Another cash guy I want to mention is what's his name? The Biggio guy, Kevin Biggio. He's pretty good too. But those are the three guys. JT, though, you break it down for me.
I got a question for JT too, because this is not being a huge baseball guy. Obviously, DFS I love, but I don't know the actual game as well as JT. Something in my head at Fenway, I never want to play lefties. I always want the righties, and I can't shake it in my head. Is this valid, or does this mean absolutely nothing at Fenway?
It's a small park overall, but with the monster in left field, if you hit a routine fly, what would be a routine fly ball in any other park, it's a double. Because let's say a warning track fly ball in Citi Field or Dodger Stadium, you've now got a double with a chance at a triple. So it's sort of a decent hitter's park. But I don't know that there's a big advantage one side or the other. I think you might be thinking just because of the monster there.
Now, I'll say this from what I remember, the left field is a little bit deeper. Like it's not like a spot you want to target lefties completely. Like it's not this just like you see the small porch and you think it's great, but it's a little deeper than you'd expect. At least that's what I'm remembering. But yeah, another problem is like if you hit sometimes you can hit like a bomb against the wall and it's just like a dart that would go totally out and be a line drive home run. But like with that fence, obviously that could be a problem, that big monster. So yeah, JT, break this one down. Like what do you want to do with the Blue Jays and what do you want to do with the Red Sox?
Yeah, I agree with Big T. I like the spot for the Blue Jays a lot. You've got Ryan Weber, who hasn't struck anybody out so far this year. Hasn't thrown a lot of innings, but he's had a couple of really bad performances. This is a good offense that hasn't lived up to expectations. They've started. There's a couple of guys in this lineup hitting the ball pretty hard over the last couple of weeks. We saw a decent game from Bichette last night. On the Boston side, I don't like Roark as a pitcher either, but because Boston just strikes out so much, that's why I was kind of thinking maybe I'll play Roark. I don't know.
Oh no, you're going all the way the other way. You're playing Roark? You aren't playing Roark.
I might. I mean, that's the mid-range tonight. It's just this Boston matchup is softer than the matchup.
Oh, I just looked at his K prop and puked in my mouth. Oh, oh.
He doesn't. I'm not looking for strikeouts if I'm playing.
I've been talking up all your pitchers. I don't know if I could get behind the Roark one.
Well, listen, like I said, I'm going to play maybe a little bit of Roark, but I just don't have a ton of interest. The Blue Jays bullpen actually has been quite good. So if he goes 5-6 and gives up a couple of runs, I just don't see it being a smash spot for the Red Sox. So because it's 11 games now, I'm probably not going to go any Red Sox tonight.
All right, let's head on over to the next game. We got the Twins, we got the Royals, and man, the Royals exploded last night. And man, like the Twins total has gone down. Like I was kind of getting high on them, but now I'm a little nervous about them. Big T, what do you want to do with this game?
Yeah, so I kind of talked about the park downshifts, and I mean, some of the things I do in baseball might not even be right or wrong as far as the actual numbers, but Minnesota has such a good home park for runs. When they go to places like Kansas City, I try to stay away from them unless it's just a totally great matchup. Obviously, there's cases where I would play Minnesota in different spots, but against Junis, I mean, Junis has been fine. And Minnesota's been a team that at Run Pure, we've pounded pretty much every day. They've treated us right. But I just try to stay away from the park downshifts on full slates. I can find better spots. So Minnesota is going to be a fade for me tonight. I don't ever like it, but in this park, I feel okay with it. Looks like the wind's blowing a little out to left. But I hate this park. I freaking hate Kansas City for runs. It never feels like it pans out. Whenever I get all in on it, I don't like it. And obviously I'm not going to go. Smeltzer, he's terrible, but whatever. He probably won't even go that deep anyways. And I'm definitely not taking KC, though, on a full slate with a little over a 4 implied line. This game is a stay away from me.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some good value on some of the Twins bats in cash games. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with it. Because again, I didn't expect the line movement. It just went really far down. JT, how about you? What are you doing with this one?
Yeah, I don't love anything in this game either. I mean, I'm not going to go back to the Royals after last night. And, on Minnesota, you can always take a shot on Kepler or Cruz as a one-off. It just it feels like more like an annoying game to me. Like the Twins are going to pitch Smeltzer for 3 innings, and then you're going to get a different pitcher every inning. And on the Royals side, Junis limits runs enough that I don't love him, but I don't love the matchup, and I won't be playing it tonight.
All right, let's go on to the next one. We got the Indians, we got the White Sox, and I don't know, from the talks we've been having, it doesn't seem like we're too interested in this game, right? I think we like the Indians pitcher a little bit, so I don't think we're on the White Sox. Big T, you're normally a White Sox backer. Is this the day to back them?
No, JT talked me into Savale for sure. I like the pitch count. I like the Ks he's shown. I like that the White Sox strike out a ton. Basically, I like everything about this spot. I'm pretty sure I'm going to play him with Kikuchi in my main team now. That's how much I like Savale. I don't even completely hate Dylan Cease that much. I don't like to pick on the Indians as much, so I'd rather just play Savale than him, but I don't hate it. Like, I could make a case for playing him against the Indians. I don't love the bottom of the lineup. I mean, Bradley Zimmer, Mercado, Delano DeShields down in the 9. Sandy Leon sucks. I mean, he doesn't strike out much, which is a worry, but he's not any good. And, yeah, I like the pitching. I mean, the only guys – I think you could always one-off Yan Makata. I say it every single day, but against right-handed pitching, he has the upside to win you a tournament because he's got power, he's got speed, and he's always going to be low-owned in this spot. Like, he's never going to be more than 5% top. So I love the upside. And you can say the same thing the other way, honestly, for like Jose Ramirez. He's just showed it yesterday with a monster game. Lindor, the same thing. But, yeah, for the most part, I'm on the pitching here. Maybe a one-off with one of these stud bats would be kind of my summary.
All righty. JT, anything here for you? Sounds like you're off this one as well, correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the exact breakdown. I would have said, maybe a one-off here and there. When Ramirez does start hitting home runs, he has a tendency to get hot and stay hot for like a week at a time. So I could see he's still, as far as I looked, he's still pretty cheap. So other than that, I do think Cease is a good enough real life pitcher that, he's not going to, normally he's not going to strike out a bunch of guys, but Savali I like quite a bit in this matchup. So that's it.
All right, let's go on to the next game. We got the Reds, we got the Brewers. We got Bauer versus Lauer, and Big T. I would look at this game and I'm just shocked. Like, why is it so close? I normally love playing the Reds against a lefty, but I just think Vegas is telling me to stay away from this one.
Yeah, man. So this is one of the ones that I absolutely love this Reds lineup, and I love Bauer normally. And you look at the line, and it's like, I mean, what's this current line at? Right now it's just mind-blowing to me that the Reds, as of right now, are basically, I mean, the Brewers are minus 109 to 106 at DK. It literally blows my mind that Milwaukee is a slight favorite in this game just because this Reds lineup is perfect against left-handed pitching for me. It's a bunch of scrubs. Like, if you just look at the lineup, it's a bunch of scrubs. But I love Matt Davidson against bad lefties. I love Casali against bad lefties. Phillip Ervin and Farmer against lefties. I just love this lineup so much from the Reds. I do hate that Milwaukee – I don't understand the line at all. And usually when I don't understand the line, it means I'm on the wrong side of it, which means Milwaukee is probably going to find a way to win this game. But, man, I can't wait to hear what JT says about this because I love this Reds lineup, and I know it's a bunch of scrubs, so I think I'm in the minority on it, and you don't want to play cheap guys tonight. Like Matt Davidson at 2,400 sticks off the page to me as one of the best plays on the board, and no one's going to play him because you don't need the salary, and it's not a great spot. I love it, so tell me why I'm wrong, JT.
I can't tell you're wrong because all these guys in the Reds lineup tonight are guys that do really well against lefties. You got Kirk Casale. You've got Phillip Ervin. Phillip Ervin doesn't hit anybody but lefties. He doesn't do anything against righties, but he hits lefties. Senzel is a good player with speed. You've got Castellanos and Suarez in there. I mean, Suarez is almost a lock button against the left-handed pitcher, right? So, and Lauer, I see people talking about, oh my goodness, he struck out 6 out of 8 batters last time out. This is exactly when you want to play the opposition his next outing because he is absolutely unlikely to do that again, especially a guy like Lauer, who's not a big strikeout pitcher. He's had some good outings against this team, but remember, Lauer only pitched 2 2/3 innings so far in his last outing. He's starting now. What's his ceiling? Maybe he goes 4 and maybe he gets to the 5th inning. But there's enough pop in this Reds lineup that I like taking chances on it. And this is a matchup that I like quite a bit.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
I don't get it. Like, explain this line to me, Mangone. Like,
I can't. Like,
the best pitchers in baseball.
That's why I'm trying to move on. It doesn't make sense.
I will say this: like, both teams have a low run total. They have to just think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and these scrubs from the Reds are just not going to do anything. That has to be what the sports books are thinking.
I don't get it. I'm going to tell you that. I don't, and I'm just going to move on and say nothing really happens. The pitcher.
Milwaukee's going to win the game, I think, but I don't know how. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there like Yelich? Yelich has he's gotten hot. He hit one yesterday, I think, right? Yelich all of a sudden gets hot and takes it on Trevor Bauer. I don't know.
Once you get into that Cincinnati bullpen, that's when you have some problems. And but that I mean, look, if you're feeling frisky, game stack.
I don't hate it. Like I honestly don't. I mean. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that you're doing it just based on feel and, like, looking at it. I don't hate it.
I
That's one of my picks, too. I'll give out a free – I already put it up on Rump Your Bets, but the over, just because I like the Reds lineup, just what JT just said, and the line looks weird. So maybe Milwaukee gets to the bullpen. You never know. I mean, I like that.
All right, let's go to the next one. We got the Angels, we got the Rangers, and man, that Rangers lineup stinks, man. I mean, it's not good. It's Shin-Soo Choo, it's Nick Solak, it's Odor, Todd Frazier in the 4-hole, Willie Calhoun, Elvis Andrus, Kiner Falefa, Chirinos, and Tejada. Like, we'll go to you, JT. I mean, first of all, like, this got to make me like Canning more, I think, after seeing this terrible Rangers lineup. You can't be stacking them up. Not enough power. And then the Angels, I mean, they could kill Jordan Lyles here, but it's not the best hitters park. So what are you doing with this game?
Yeah, no, I mean, the last couple of years, this is such a fun place to watch baseball games because you turn it on and know you're probably looking at a 12-10 game. And what they've done with this park is it's enormous. It's difficult to hit in. So, no, I like Canning. I do like the Angels side of this a little bit because I really don't have a ton of respect for Jordan Lyles. So, if anything, I'll take some shots on the Angels and Shohei Ohtani, who's, even though he's not going to be pitching, that actually makes me like him more as a hitter because it takes that distraction away. So I like Lyles. He's really, him and I guess Fletcher now are the two lefties in this lineup that you look at. And Fletcher showed a little bit of power later, and of course Trout. So I like a little mini stack here of the Angels. I like Canning. I don't like really anything on the Texas side.
Big T, how about you? How are you handling this one?
Yeah, I agree with the Texas lineup. I mean, it's definitely not good. I wish it was a different slate or different pricing. Because Canning, I do like him. I just don't know if I need to play him. I think he gets like 15 points tonight. Good, solid showing. I just don't know if you're going to need him. Like, I don't think the upside's there. The Angels, man, their lineup is really good at the top and really bad at the bottom. So I agree with JT. Mini stack, if anything. Maybe you put 3 of these guys with your main stack of 5, fit it in there because they definitely got some pop. I mean, if you play Fletcher, Trout, Rendon, Ohtani, you're going to feel good. But, man, you're not going to feel good when you see these dudes at the bottom coming up. I mean, I don't even know who this – Joe Adele, I don't even know who that is. So, yeah, the bottom of the lineup. Don't love the bottom. Mini stack for me with the Angels.
All right, let's go on to the next one. We got the Diamondbacks. We got the Padres. And Luke Weaver, Zach Davies. Like, I don't know. This game doesn't get me too excited. JT, how about you?
Yeah, no, I'm not paying that salary for Zach Davies ever. I don't care where he's pitching. So I'm off him. Weaver has looked really bad. I'm just not going to – I don't think I need to go there tonight. I don't think that the matchup matches the upside that I would want from an 8K pitcher. I actually kind of like the Arizona side of this. I kind of like the Arizona lefties against Davies. So that's really probably the only thing that I like out of this. Tatis has been on a heater. He's been hitting the ball super hard. He's hit a bunch out this week. And Chad's going off on you, T. Joe Adele, by the way, is probably one of the top.
I'm typing right now. Yeah, he's a top prospect. Why is he hitting 7th behind Tommy La Stella then, Chad?
I can tell you why. I can answer that. Because Joe Madden.
Yeah, I mean, so what does this dude do? Let me pull this dude up. Has he played yet?
Nah, he's played in a couple of games. He's got like 2 games.
Yeah, he's got 2 hits. I mean, he's 1 for 4, 1 for – I mean, come on, Chad. Don't make me come after you, Chad. I don't get it anyways. Like JT's our baseball knowledge. I'm DFS knowledge. We meet in the middle here. We do it together. I don't know these prospects. Are you kidding me? I play every sport. I mean, NASCAR, MMA. Like I can't. I don't have time to know the top 20 prospects in baseball. JT's all our knowledge. I already admitted it.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, guys in chat are killing you for it. Tony, like, we play 1,000 different DFS sports. Like, do you know who's like the starting, left tackle on the Cowboys? Like, no, we don't know.
And Chat called me out. I'd be willing to bet that I've watched more overall sports than almost anyone on this planet since I was in like middle school. I just don't I watch them all. I don't just watch baseball. And I'm always honest about it. Like, I don't know these prospects until they come up. But I got my man JT, and JT does, so that's all I need.
Yeah, JT's going to lead us to the promised land. And JT's probably not happy right now. We only got 63 likes. We got 158 people watching. We need 100 likes, guys, and we need it by the end of the show. And we're getting towards the end of the show, guys. So start getting that moving. We want to give away some swag, so let's get that rolling a little bit. I don't think we got to talk about this Diamondbacks-Padres game. Maybe we could speed it up a little bit. Let's go to Astros-Oakland, because I think we want to talk about this game a little bit. We'll go to you, JT, Mr. Baseball Knowledge. Talk about Zach Greinke for us and what's going on with him. Are we stacking against him with Oakland? Because in tournaments, I kind of think stacking Oakland's a good idea.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bizarre guy anyway. But this year, his velocity's down. He never has been a very hard thrower since he was a young kid, but he's down from his usual 89 to 91 to 84 to 86. And that's a pretty significant drop. He does have a good K prop tonight, which kind of jumped off the page at me, or at least good for him. So that surprised me a little bit, or at least he had one earlier in the day. Yeah, it was 4.5, but it was minus 157 on the over. So, it depends on what you think of him. If you think that he can have enough wizardry to get past this A's lineup in a big park, then sure. But I like the A's side of this much more. I don't know that I'll have any Greinke tonight. I think if it's one of these things where he wasn't working out during the period of time that they were off, that's one thing. I'm going to wait until he gets in game shape, and I'm not going to pay 10-2 for a guy that has a 17% strikeout rate. So I like the A's side of this. Bassett I like a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to end up playing him, but he's a guy who I think can be a good pitcher. He's shown it in spurts, but I don't like picking on this Astros lineup, although tonight would be the night to do it in a park where it's a little bit bigger. It's going to be cooler out there tonight. I like the A side. I'm going to be off Frankie tonight.
All right, Big T, what are you doing with this Oakland team? You talked about possibly betting them, so I gotta assume you like the offense.
Yeah, so right away when we talked about the slate a little bit, this line stuck out to me just because Houston obviously is one of the best teams in baseball, great lineup. Oakland's good, but I didn't expect Oakland with Bassett on the mound to be favored like minus 130 over Houston with Greinke. Just on the surface, it looks bad. I wondered in my head, and then right away JT says Greinke's velocity's way down. Makes a ton of sense. Oakland started to see the ball a little bit better the last week. I was fading them for like a full week against Seattle every night. Seattle was beating them up. And now that they look like they clicked a little bit. So I do like the Oakland call. My only issue with Oakland is, again, I always go back to this, but I like to feel good about the bottom of the lineup. I don't necessarily feel great about Grossman, Murphy, and Kemp. Maybe Murphy, because you can always play a catcher. I mean, it doesn't really matter what catcher you play on your stack. But, I mean, the top of the lineup looks really good. I mean, I could make a case for the top six. They all got power. They all have a bunch of upside. So I do like it. Oakland is definitely one of my favorite stacks.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And you mentioned JT's boy, Sean Murphy. So JT, is it a Sean Murphy day? That's one of your catcher random guys you talk about.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced that he was going to hit a homer off of Kikuchi last week, and that didn't work out so well. And I think I went back to him the next night. But no, I don't mind that. I mean, he does have a bit of power. I know, Mangone, you never heard of him before I mentioned him last week. But he's got to hit home.
Did the chat make fun of you? Mangone, did the chat make fun of you?
No, I didn't get made. I don't know if he's a top 20 catching prospect or something out there, but yeah, I didn't get made fun of.
But he just, I mentioned his name, and all of a sudden you see him, he pulled his hat off. He's like,
he pulled his hat off.
What? Who? What? He went over. He's like, he's going to FanGraphs. He's like, how do you spell Murphy? So yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Let's go to the next game. I think this is just a skip game. Rockies, Mariners. Tony, any interest in this game?
So I actually do have more interest than probably most will. I like Seattle. I think Senzatella is really terrible. I don't love the park. I don't love that the weather's going to be somewhat chilly. I mean, it's not going to be like freezing or anything, but not the best hitting weather, not the best hitting park. But in baseball, like we always talk about every single night, if you get a stack at 1 or 2% owned and they go off, you're going to have a chance to win a tournament. So I think Senzatella is real bad. I think the Seattle lineup is underrated. I mean, you got Vogelback, Seager, and the top guys. I mean, Kyle Lewis is a stud. Nola has power. I don't know. It's a 1 or 2% offense. It's not going to be my core offense by any means, but if I was playing 150 teams, maybe I play 10% Seattle or something and be way above the field. And yeah, I like Kikuchi in the spot as well.
All right. How about you, JT? How are you handling this one?
Yeah, Senzatella, same thing. Had a great game at home against the Padres last week, and I'm going to get off him now and hop on the Seattle side. And I'm going to, I am running 150. I am going to run about 3 to 5 game stacks of this game and just stack Seattle up with Arenado, Story, and Kemp. And with how cheap Seattle is, I'll be able to get the pitchers I want in there. And then I probably will have about 10% Kikuchi. It's just one of the things I do. When they have a game like that, I'm going to get off them. But again, Kikuchi's so cheap. If you wanted a higher priced offense, it's fine. You want to stack the Dodgers with Kikuchi? No problem.
Yeah, let's go to the next game, and we got to talk about this one because it's a good one, right? You got to like the Giants and Dodgers game. They got a 5.74 implied total. I mean, you got to like the Dodgers bats, Tony. Do you think they're going to be too chalky, though, for your liking?
The good thing about baseball, and my favorite part about baseball, is chalk is different in baseball. Yeah, the Dodgers are going to be 10 to 15% owned more than likely, and that's chalky in baseball. But on the flip side of that, they could score a ton of runs, and they're only 10 to 15% owned. So The Dodgers are one of those teams that I think you need to have some of every night because, I mean, you got this Rios dude batting eighth who has a ton of power. Will Smith has power. All 9 guys. I mean, the lineup is loaded. Jock up in the one hole, obviously. The lineup is loaded. There's not much else to say about the Dodgers. I think you need to always have some just because they can break the slate. You know how good you'd be feeling if there wasn't much offense early in the night, which we've seen this a ton this year, by the way. Not much offense early. Everybody's tilting their offense like, oh, I'm done. And then you see your just massive Dodger stack waiting in the wings. And you could even – we talk about game stacks, and I say it every time against a lefty, but Wilmer, Ruff, Trump, you got some lefty dudes that can people that can hit some lefties in this Giants lineup that are also going to be 1% owned. So, I like this game more than most people will, even from the Giants side. I like this Giants offense.
Yeah, listen, Tony, I'm already looking at this like West Coast stack idea. You know, you get that pitcher rolls out there. He's got a clean, like, you know, solid outing, and then all the bats don't hit in the other spots. That's what I'm kind of thinking maybe right now. So, I think that this is a good spot for the Dodgers. I like stacking them up in cash. I think they're one of the best stacks on the slate. JT, how about you?
Yeah, the Dodgers are my top stack, and I don't think they're going to come in the highest owned. What I'm looking at now, it looks like the Angels and the Blue Jays and even the Red Sox are going to come in higher than them. So Dodgers at 10%. I don't think Samardzija has anything to stop this team. There's nothing in this bullpen that scares me. You know, Samardzija is going to get runners on second and third, and Kapler's going to pull them out. So it's just a fantastic spot. I don't know that I'm going to go with the Giants side of this. They are coming out of Coors down into Dodger Stadium. Urias is good enough. He's been really good against these Giants. They haven't hit him very well. Certainly can't hurt to chase homers, but I like the idea of stacking these guys with Seattle or stacking these guys with Oakland, who's another team that's going to be 1% owned. So you have the Dodgers at 10%, but then you have Seattle, who nobody ever plays, even though they're scoring like 7-8 runs a night, or the A's, who people are going to be thinking name recognition, say, oh, it's a Greinke night, I'll stay away from them. Not tonight. And there you go. And so, you're going to be in last place until about 10 o'clock, and then boom, you shoot up. So I like it a lot.
All right. Let's see how we're doing in the chat. We got
that's got to be like the best feeling in baseball, by the way, isn't it? Like when you're down at the bottom, but not much is happening, right? And then you get to these late games and you got all the bats and you get like one bomb and you see it move up a little, another bomb and it just goes way up and you just have all the innings left. Like that's just the best feeling.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to mention, 70 likes, guys. We need to get 100. We got 150 watching, guys, so we need 29 more likes. And Big T, you did mention, it's great when you have the bats in the chamber, right? And all the games are over. I had the White Sox bat yesterday, and I was on the bubble, and it didn't go the way you talked.
That's the opposite of it. When you got all of them left, and then they just give you nothing, it does not feel good.
You just stay right there. You just don't move. Like I
stay right at the bottom. It's even better. You got like all the bats, and you start going the opposite way. Even your dudes aren't doing anything.
Yeah, it's like one guy, Lori hit a home run, and I got closer, and then nobody else did anything, and I was just like, no, not happening.
Too good. All right, let's kind of talk about stacks now, guys. Hit those likes and get them in there so we can give away the swag. Let's talk stacks. So, Big T, give me your top stacks.
So, chalky stacks, I definitely would go with the Dodgers and Toronto would be my two stacks. Sneakier stacks for me is going to be the Reds and Seattle. So those would be my four main stacks.
All right. JT, how about you?
Yeah, I'm with you on Dodgers and Toronto and Seattle. For my fourth one, I guess, you know what? I'm going to go to the Mets with my fourth one. I don't think anybody's going to own them. I think it's a decent enough spot, and it's a spot where I like to play.
All right, my stacks. I'm going to go with Dodgers. I'm going to go with Angels and the Athletics. Man, that's going to be where I am at. We're staying in California for all the stacks. That's the plan for me. Let's go to home run calls. Big T, give me your home run guys tonight.
By the way, I don't think we can play. Our boy from RG, Kevin Roth, tweeted like a tornado warning in Philadelphia. We kind of talked about throwing some. I don't know if I'm even going to throw a few on there. It is some upside, but man, this radar looks nasty coming into Philly. But what are we doing? Home runs?
Yep.
So home runs, I'll take a couple of these Reds guys. I just feel really good about the Reds. I hate that the line doesn't agree with me because I am such a sports book type guy. I don't like disagreeing, but man, I think they score runs off this lefty. So Eugenio Suarez, I mean, he looks just lock and load to me, and he's probably going to hit one. Sneakier one, Matt Davidson, Dodgers guys. I mean, I don't like to just take the obvious Dodger guys. So give me Vogelbach in that Seattle game.
Yeah, I'm seeing Ross tweet now. He said, and the tornado warning looks. He goes, the tornado warning looks legit. So if you live in the area, take shelter. Like no DFS players taking shelter. They're wearing out in the lineups right now.
That radar does not look good, but you will get it low owned if you play it.
Oh, that's
DFS players are outside trying to see where there's a break.
Out there trying to get it out. That's great.
Yeah, the DFS players are definitely outside trying to see if it's somehow they can gain an edge because their boots on the ground, trying to figure out if it's okay. Oh man, that's too good. JT, give me your home run calls.
I'll go Max Muncy, Brandon Nimmo, however you pronounce his name, on the Mets. Big T, he's on the Mets. And then Kyle Lewis for the Mariners. Kyle Lewis missed one by about a foot and a half the other night, and he's going to make that right tonight.
All right, give me Matt Olson. I like Matt Olson. Definitely take him there. I like on the Dodgers side, we'll go with Bellinger. Belly bomb gets hit out tonight, and we'll go with let's see. I was gonna pick someone on the Angels, but man, some of these cheap guys aren't great. I'm going to go with Ohtani, though. He's super cheap on FanDuel. So, make sure you get him over there.
I missed an opportunity. I should have gone with Adele or whatever the dude's name is just to get the chat all riled up.
Yeah, you know what? You should have done the needle me, Tony. I know you like Kikuchi, but you should have came with Matt Kemp, right, against the lefty out of nowhere.
Matt. So, JT had all the credit I gave him the whole show. Whatever pitcher he said, and then Kemp. He made me vomit when he said Kemp. That definitely made me throw up in the mouth.
Hey, he's 100 years old, but you know what? Against the lefty, how can you hate on a guy?
Oh, man. I was talking so much trash to Mangone at Coors that night, and he had 3 of the worst at-bats I've ever seen after I talked trash to him. He was up there waving.
Yeah, they were rough. But Big T, give your final thoughts on this slate, and then we'll get on out of here because the likes are not there today. We're not giving out the swag.
Yeah, I mean, I like the slate. I feel good. I'm happy JT got me on Savali a little bit because I needed a little kick in that direction. I wasn't sure with Kikuchi who I wanted to play. I like Savali. I still like Bauer. I mean, I'm not going to completely fade him, but I like Savali more if I had to pick one. And I like the offense to spread it around a little bit. Dodgers, I think the Dodgers explode late, kind of like we talked about. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun slate. Hopefully the Reds. That game is the one for me where, like we talked about, I disagree with the line, but usually the sportsbook lines are sharp. So I hope it's not like a 2-1 game because that will not be good for my teams.
All right, we got to get out of here, guys. We got to build lines. We got to do the core plays over at Run Pure Sports. So check that out. We got to update all of our stuff. But we got to go. For me, Mangone, Big T, and JT.